Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now let's talk a little bit of AJ. Anthony Joshua about to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. in the heavyweight division. We know that's one of the biggest things going to happen in the heavyweight division this year because of the rematch. It was a sensational win by Andy Ruiz Jr. in the first fight, right? So now, it's going to the second fight and it's on. They've had their press tour and everything like that. So, the coach, the trainer of your boy AJ, Rob McCracken, he was like saying, hey, listen, AJ was concussed in round 3. I knew he was concussed. He was glazy-eyed. You know what I mean? He was concussed from round 3, right? So, he was trying to see round for round how AJ would do and how far he could go. So he was concussed. So, if you know that, then you can also see, that's not that bad how AJ did. He came back around 4, landed some stuff, jab, stay on the outside, but he was being stalked, but he was in there around 4 or 5. So that gives him 4 rounds he was fighting concussed. So that's not that bad. That's good news to come out, or news to come out at least. And Rob McCracken was keeping his eye on it, but he saw his man in there, but he knew he was concussed, right? So that's a pretty good, account of himself from AJ. Seems like he was still trying to fight, right? And so when we look at that, we're looking at, well, AJ, that's a little heart there. So I'm gonna bring it to Joseph Parker for a second. I know we've been talking to Joseph Parker, but Chisora was acting up so much at the press conference that they fight done moved up a little bit, But Joseph Parker, for people that will feel what Anthony Joshua went through, just want to see if you have that same empathy, right? Joseph Parker fighting Dillian Whyte, right, was concussed from round 2, right? Was concussed, and it wasn't even a punch from a headbutt that he went down for, and it was also even counted as a punch, and it wasn't. So we talking about the instant replay we was talking about a few weeks ago. Yeah, that would be nice. So that fight would have been different if that wasn't, just for example, if that wasn't counted as a knockdown. From a headbutt, concussed from round 2, right? Then that was the first time he's ever down. Then gets hit later on with a nice left hook, being concussed about 4 or 5 rounds later, left hook, and was really down for the first time in his career. But is in the fight the whole time, getting roughed up after being concussed, round 2. Then to come back, there was those late rounds in the fight, pretty much tying it up, and knocking Dillian Whyte down, was it once or twice, but definitely Dillian Whyte was really pretty much out. If the fight was 30 seconds longer, it probably would have been called off. That was also valiant, being concussed for 10 rounds, okay? So that's just something, for Joseph Parker, for people who don't know, you've seen this guy in adversity. A lot of fights, we have these narratives, like, yeah, Joshua was concussed and he fought pretty valiantly until he was stopped. Joseph Parker was concussed, right, and fought 10 rounds valiantly and came all the way back. So some valiant things that happened. We've seen Deontay Wilder sick fighting, right, with one hand, with bicep and hand broke, fighting 8, 9 rounds, right? So when we see things like that, let's fathom that for all the fighters. They've shown some things. So Anthony Joshua was concussed and he continued fighting, says his trainer, Rob McCracken. Joseph Parker did right in front of our eyes. Let's fathom that too. Deontay Wilder hurt like hell against Luis Ortiz, came back and handled his business, or whatever. We're talking heavyweights now. We're just mentioning those right now. Just saying. So there's some heart there for most of these fighters. I thought that was pertinent because as soon as I heard about him being concussed round 3, which we all knew he was, just wanted to make sure we mentioned Joseph Parker because that was something that slept under the rug. Concussed from a headbutt and came all the way back against that, right? So Joseph Parker is someone you gotta keep, keep in the forefront of what you're talking about when you're talking about heavyweights. When you're looking at things like that, it's really that simple. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.